Everyday interaction that we all so need. These are the things that make DBS Radio the better sounding radio in Dominica. Keep on listening.
WUSC Caribbean Dominica Inc., in collaboration with the Bureau of Gender Affairs and the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Blue and Green Economy, will be launching its first ever radio series surrounding the theme of International Women's Day. The theme is Women Driving Digital Innovation and Technological Advancement for Gender Equality. Tune in to listen to a diverse group of featured speakers on how we advance technology in agriculture that will lead to women's innovation and promote gender equality for women and youth. Join us every Wednesday evening via DBS Radio and WUSC Caribbean Facebook streaming from March 1st to the 22nd. Don't you miss it.
And good evening, everyone, and welcome, or should I say good afternoon. I'm switching time zone. I just came from the northeast, and I flew down to Roseau. So is it evening or afternoon? Good evening, ladies. Happy International Women's Day to you. You all look lovely, all made up and relaxed. I'm sorry I'm so scruffy. Happy International Women's Day.
Thank you very much.
I cannot hear you all, though.
Thank you very much. Same to you.
Anyone wants to tell me how they spend their day today? Looking rested and made up, and yes, before we introduce ourselves, that is.
It was a day of wetting plants, new seedlings, so nothing unusual, just the regular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a little bit of technical difficulty, but I see Dennis is rectifying that.
Okay, mine was a day of transplanting, making buka and cooking. Just before.
Okay.
My day was well spent in paying bills.
That's an oxymoron. Paying bills and happiness doesn't go together. So just for those at home or those who are not actually live as yet on the Facebook page, because I'm sure they'll be joining us, can you introduce yourselves? Everybody know me as Petra Girl Shillingford with the Ministry of Agriculture. We'll get into that, but for the lovely ladies who are well, you look lovely, honestly, I must say. Well, I'm seeing you on the farm every day, so it's a breath of fresh air. So can you introduce yourselves to us, please? We go from my left to your right.
I'm Magdalene Ismail, originally from Maho, the village that never sleeps. And I farm on an estate in Sultan. And it's a new passion of mine that I just embraced it, and I'm just so happy doing it. It's so fulfilling, and seeing the result is that's the blessing. And I love to share, especially with the youth, to encourage them to see the beauty of farming, and not farming only as tilling soil, but farming as a way of life or means of creating an economy, and investing in what is going to be.
Okay, great, excellent. So we have with us Maggie. We're moving on to the next.
Pleasant good afternoon. It's nice to be here. I'm Eileen Lloyd. I am the PRO of the Bellevue Chope Farmers Group. I love farming. I've been in it for about 40 years. It's my passion. It's the first form of employment created by the Most High, and in it you find all the other subjects that we depend on. So I love it. It's a passion of mine. I love interacting. It's a therapy also. So farming is my life. I just love it. After God, I love farming.
And last but by no means least, from the mountaintops.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. This is Mabel Esprit Charles, better known as Mabel Charles. I came from the beautiful village of Campbell, and I reside at Mount Prosper, where I do farming, and I made farming my friend, my everything. I love farming. It's like dear to my heart, and I enjoy every part of it.
Okay, so great. So we got that out of the way. So now we can talk freely, we can communicate, we can dialogue. I just want to say before we continue that we want to thank, honestly, the Global Affairs Canada. This is a program being undertaken in Dominica. We may be familiar with it more as the WUSC or the SAC project. And they are partners with the Ministry of Agriculture. We want to thank the Ministry of the Blue and Green Economy, where I work, Agriculture and Fisheries, for assisting us. And we really want to say thank you to Dominica for making sure that everything, all the kinks were ironed out, everything was in place. Now, we are focusing on the theme, which is women driving digital innovation and technological advancement for gender equality and equity. And of course, we'll be focusing more on women. So when you all are all based agriculture, some of you have diversified into business, some of you came from education, as Maggie said. Miss Lloyd says she's the original employee of what Mother God. Is it for you, Miss Lloyd? Is it Father God or Mother God? Or is it both?
What?
Is God a woman, basically, I'm asking you?
He's not a woman.
Okay.
God
I thought you were going to agree that he is a woman because everything is perfect.
No, I won't.
Okay. So because of that, in terms of, you want to share a little bit about your experiences in agriculture for us before we move on to innovation. What is it that really motivates you to keep you going on in agriculture? Why you continue in the sector? Any one of you all? Mabel? Maggie?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Firstly, let me just say I love agriculture, and to be a woman of agriculture, you have to have a passion for agriculture. You cannot just get up in the morning and say, well, I'm going to do agriculture. You have to have a passion for it. Now, it helped me to be independent. Normally, like when I get up in the morning, when I go to my farm, I go like I am going to work in town. I do everything like you would do when you were going to town to work. When I reach, before I start, I pray. Everything I do, I always thank God. Like after I weed a bed, if I do in a bed of carrots, after I do it, I always lift up my hand and say, thank you, Father. At least I finished with that one. You know, and it helped me to stay focused. It helped me to be humble. Like, it's just a passion. It just helped me. It's like, let's say if you're going for a problem, a therapy.
Oh, it's therapeutic to you.
Yes. I look at it like that. And like, I am never broke. Because like doing agriculture, like you always have $1.
Or anticipate getting one.
Right.
Something is in the ground.
Yes.
Okay.
And it helps you, it motivates you. It helps you to meet people, you know?
Do you agree with that, Miss Lloyd?
Yes, I do agree with that. And having been there, I would think I was brought up in agriculture because my grandparents were, my parents were. And it's a passion of mine from a youth. And at my age now, as you can see, I am still into it. So 40 years down the road, I still love it. And the reason why I love it even more, I could have been out there being employed in some other form of job because my children are grown. But I choose to say, and they were saying to me, Mom, you can go back to school, you can do what you want to do, or you can, find something else. But I love it. I just love it. And what I love most about agriculture is like when I look into it, it's the first form of employment. And why we can get so much of it, because the Most High, the Creator, He was the one who created it. And our first parents, Adam and Eve, was put into a garden. And from it, everything else
stemmed forth.
All so right. I love it. It's my passion.
Maggie, you want to tell us in terms of, do you agree? Is there any point that you want to bring in?
I agree with what they're saying. I'm kind of new to it. Not new in a sense that I was brought up as a farmer's daughter. So I'm very well aware of a farm. I've always had a farm in my life. But it's not something that I did as a career. I had a career before I came into farming.
Which was what, may I ask?
Which was education.
Mm.
But I studied in nursing, left nursing, went into education. So the thing is, when I came back home, My dad has a well-planned farm. And instead of having the farm just there in deterioration, I revamped the farm and I brought the farm back to life. And I just developed that liking for being on the farm. So I took residence on the farm. I'm there. I'm actually involved in it. I get involved in everything. So it's something that I just learned to grow into. And I think this is my last career. And
All
I
right.
will stay in it, and I will encourage the youth to embrace it.
Now, with anything that we love, there are challenges, there are obstacles, there are situations. But in keeping with our theme we have, I want you all to just share with me, as a producer in such a sector, what are the challenges that you all have encountered? Just briefly, if you can.
There are several challenges, but I don't think that challenges can deter you. You are going to find challenges in no matter what aspect of life. For example, as farmers, we struggle with getting our produce out there on the market. Number one, it's very difficult. Sometimes we have our go-to, hucksters come, hucksters don't come. Regular people might call. Some people go on the market. But I think to combat the disadvantage in how you sell and when you sell, you have to really, like everything, put that effort into it and find your market. Find your market and it will sell, it will go.
So you're saying that one of the challenges may be in terms of having a ready outlet, but this is something that you have to really work on in collaboration with other organizations to get resolution.
Yes.
Any
most
of the other
definitely.
ladies, Miss Lloyd or Mabel? Challenges, resolutions?
Okay, one of the challenges we might have as women is labor. And
I just wrote this down, like literally writing as you were speaking.
okay, labor is one of the challenges that we have. And another challenge that we might be facing is to approach the bank when you want to get a loan as a woman farmer. And so
access to credit?
Access to credit.
All
yes. So I think I can speak on behalf of most women. The labor part is one of the most difficult part, because if you are not married and have a husband, or if you do not have a partner who is in it with you, helping as a woman, it's very, very, very difficult. But in my case, it's a bit easier for me because I am married. So, and then for marketing, even as Maggie was saying, sometimes marketing is the problem. I cannot express that because after 40 years, I would have a secure market some way, somehow, some year. I'm not saying here, but
No,
but I do
Yes.
have, people who just call and ask me and find out what we have for sale and so on.
But before I move on to Mabel, we are in 2023 and you're saying that women in agriculture who want to be independent have problems in accessing credit?
Yes.
Is
they
this
do.
that what I'm hearing?
They do.
Yes.
They do. Yes.
That's not a myth?
no.
No.
That's not. It's
This
true.
is the number one
It's true.
question that is always put forth, no matter what conference, what meeting we are talking. That always come up.
Okay, so maybe we've tackled labor, we've said access to credit and markets. Any other challenges you think?
There's another challenge, if I may
Yes.
add to what she was saying, but because of new innovations
Mm-hmm.
that wasn't available 20
And I want
or
you to
30
keep
years
it
ago.
under wraps for now. I know where you're.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Maybe let's go. In terms of problems, solutions, challenges.
Yeah, and sometimes we have water challenges. Yeah, and then in line with the when they talk about the credits, there are particular business place that usually call people for loans, and then when you go, because you're a farmer, you are not able to get the loan.
Is it that they're asking for records, for statements to show that you are selling?
You have all that, but then you still not qualify.
Well, we're not going to call any names
No,
today.
I'm not calling any
yes,
name.
but this is something. So I'm sure the reason we asked is because I'm sure that a number of women who are getting into agriculture or into agriculture themselves would want to really have somebody who understands what they're going through and have that message across. Now, as it relates to innovation, we're saying there are so many advancements in technology. You mentioned water, and that I didn't even want to touch on that because persons may say we live in Dominica. How can there be a problem with water and access to water? But we will speak and expound on that. But as it relates to innovation, technology, advancement, etc., what is something that has assisted you all? Is there any area of advanced technology that you're able to utilize on farm?
Yes. Yes, most definitely. Thanks to the UNDP grant that they gave to farmers, the Central Farmers, women farmers, decided to take a stand and get gender-friendly tools. Because as we all know, the chainsaw is heavy, we cannot maneuver it. The weed whacker, all the tools they make are very heavy. And it's very difficult for us women to use. So there are new innovations out there. There's a battery-powered chainsaw that you can use as a woman. It's light. It's pretty easy to use. There are battery-powered knapsack that we can use because we use knapsack to wet our plants. You know, there are so much more than it used to be. Back then, we have to get somebody to swipe for you. You have to get somebody to saw your wood for you. If you have branches in your way, you have to wait till you find. But now we can do it on our own because there are lighter equipment. Same thing. We'll do the exact same work as other chainsaw would do. So we decided to do the gender-friendly tools, and it is working so much better.
Yeah, I've seen you all posting. I've seen you all boasting.
Better. Yeah.
Yes. But in terms of weight, how much would you say that the brush cutter, what is the weight you think?
It might be going about 2 pounds.
That is what I'm saying, and I
or
saw
pound
it.
and a half, yeah.
That, just think of a pound of fish. That's nothing. I can eat a pound of fish.
Yeah, you can handle it. And again, it is battery. It's a battery. You cannot. And you know the what economics of farming?
Yes.
We just had a 4-day workshop with EcoBalance.
Explain what is ergonomics for those of persons who do not know.
It's the science of your body. It's how you take care of your body. We have a worker come in, and we expect that man to start working from the time he come on the farm till he leaves. No, he has feelings. He has to take a rest. So there are means and ways to help. We have the back straps that you can use. Utilize the tools. It's there. Stop crying with your back and take a chance. There's a way to bend. There's a way to lift. And then doing that workshop on ergonomics with EcoBalance, they taught us how to bend, how to lift. If you know a 5-gallon knapsack is too heavy for you, put 2 gallons in there. So...
And pace yourself.
Yes, and pace yourself. You work for an hour, you stop, you rest, or you do a lighter task. Because your back, when it breaks, you have to sit for a week and cannot move.
And in terms of the cost, though, Maggie, someone might be saying, but if it's battery operated and lightweight and gender friendly, it may cost more than a standard.
No, it's not more.
All right, okay.
It's not more.
Because I saw it. I was very impressed. I was rather impressed. So you can do a little swiping around your crops.
You can do your swiping. You can cut your flowers. You can hedge your plants. You can cut your chainsaw. You can cut your wood. I mean, you have branches. You wanna prune your trees. There's so much you can do. All
right. Any of the other ladies would like to just, I have all the answers, so you cannot shy away. So any of the ladies want to get, and I want to remind persons that you can join us on DBS's Facebook page. For those of you, we are live streaming right now. You can see the three beautiful ladies there in studio, and you can interact with us via the chat, etc. Or you can feel free to call 1-800. The numbers to call, 1-800-327 or 448-3281. Yes, so we're talking about Women's Day, innovation in agriculture, and we're moving on to Miss Lloyd or Mabel.
Okay, we are not as fortunate as Maggie to have gender-friendly tools as yet. We have the normal tools, but then again, when it comes to technology, what's one of the things that we did even during COVID that works well for us is we were able to build with the help of UNDP also, we were able to build a Facebook page to get our produce sold, and which of course was very good. We got a sealer, we had our produce washed and packaged and sealed, and we were able to sell it to either to the vendors or to the supermarkets who needed at that time, and it was for COVID, so we could use the technology that we have to market our produce. And so that was a plus for us.
So is that continuing as we speak?
Well, since everything is open and we are back to normal, it's not continuing. But we also use the technology to find sales sometimes. So,
okay, but are clients asking? Are persons asking for that?
People are asking it.
So what would come in that pack then?
Well, what would come in the pack, in our package at that time that we were doing, we were selling our carrots, we were selling our cabbages, and the wheat, and most of the time it's to the supermarkets. It was easier to sell it to the supermarket in that way. So they would not have to package again. It would come packaged already, seal up, and then they would just
so less human interaction.
Yes.
Okay, that was something that should continue though.
And they donated a sealer to us, so we had the sealer from them and the page.
So that's all along the value chain in terms of preservation, etc. Yes, maybe we're coming to you in terms of innovation, maybe applications, etc. that you utilize right now.
Well, it also works well for the Mon Prosper Farmers in Action. During the COVID time, we were able to package our seasoning, green seasoning. So in a package, you get celery, parsley, thyme, seasoning, pepper, and chive. There were 3 supermarkets, or I think rather 2, and 1 is added, and it continues. Right now, if you go to the supermarkets, various supermarkets, you'll be able to pick up the packages, well sealed. And again, thank you to UND for they give us a sealer, and then we are still on.
Okay, anybody's utilizing any apps on their phones?
Well, I was just about to say that. Okay. We use the garden app on our phones, where it gives us the time to plan the moon. So not every time like you can just go through a calendar or McDonald's. You have your data on your phone, so you just go through your app, and here you go. We also do Zoom meeting. Like if the weather is not all that, and we decide, well, okay, we can just stay home, and then after that we just put our notes together. So
what I'm getting, the central thing I'm getting here, while you all are using technology, you are also part of a group or a system. It's not you all just independent, just struggling and in the trenches. And how is that important how important is that for women farmers, female farmers right now, in terms of being part of an organization, being part of a group setting, or being part of a community of other farmers?
Being part of a group allows you, it just gives you the opportunity to learn from each other. During the COVID time, it was a very difficult time around the world. And the app that we use to communicate on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, or having meetings, and it conveniences the people who are working all day and cannot attend workshops and meetings. So we would have Zoom meetings. And although we had difficulties in our area for the internet because we only had the wireless, but yet still, if we couldn't get on Zoom, we would do Google. We would use Google. And it was so beneficial because, everyone was afraid of, meeting each other, of going to each other's homes because, we were just afraid of that monster. And thanks to Zoom, we were able to communicate like we were right there in person. And some of the other apps that is so readily available, and it is so interesting because it's each individual personal experience that I learned so much from, which is YouTube. Anything you need to learn, anything you want to know, you just YouTube and it's there. It might not be what works for everyone, but it gives you a new perspective of how science is important on the farm. We talk about depleting the ozone layer, depleting the earth, too much chemicals, too much fertilizers. And there are so many natural fertilizers and natural things that we can do coming right from our kitchen. And in my group, we share, we learn from each other. It's so important because in the group, we sell amongst ourselves. You have something to sell, you put it out there in the chat, and they call you, they tell you, well, I want some string beans or I want pumpkin. And we do that as a group.
All right. Coming back to Mabel and the app Mabel, for those farmers who may be interested, what is the name of the application? Do you remember right now?
Mabel.
I have a data plan, but it just not open. It just
Yeah, DBS may have some firewall, is it called? Yes. But is it the Moon and Garden app?
Yes.
Right.
Uh-huh.
So somebody can just go on Google that Moon and Garden app, and then they can just go down to maybe the what they call it, the Play Store, and just download. How easy is it to utilize though?
Easy enough because it will tell you like if it's above ground you want to do, or if it's below ground. And then it will give you watery sign, whatever sign you choose to use. It will tell you like, okay, today is the 7th, right?
Today is the 8th of May.
Right.
8th of March,
okay,
sorry.
8th of March, it will tell you, well, today is the 8th. You can plant. It will give you a barren sign, and you just follow up. Yep.
And how long have you been utilizing that application, or your group rather?
Well, it's a while now since I learned to save from buying a McDonald's.
Think of it as you being environmentally friendly. You're saving the trees, yes.
Yes. And then, but although sometimes I don't use it because right now it's very sunny. And then let's say like tomorrow live spill, it's raining. I'm not going to use app because I have a lot of plants to put down in the ground. So I'm not going to go to the app. I'm just going to plant by faith.
Okay, but your app, but at least the app gives you the knowledge of what to do.
Yes. But
so you utilize the app and you utilize your faith.
Yes.
So it's a multi-pronged approach. That's a nice one.
Talking about dry, now we are going through our real Kawem. It's very, very dry. And thanks to the Red Cross, to the Red Cross, Mistress Roll, she has given us a grant, the Central Universal Farmers Group, where we are doing some water harvesting. And they are giving us some tanks and the fittings and the line to run water, because you will say Dominica have 365 rivers, but when you have a farm and you have an acre of land to plant and it's dry, the water is not close to you, because we don't really do wells in Dominica. We depend on the rain, or we carry water. But when you have a tank, you put it somewhere, in a particular area in the farm where you can access water. It's very difficult to carry water, and especially our terrain. We farm on hills, we have to go up, and if you have to carry water, it's very difficult. So water harvesting is very good if farmers can at least maybe have a shed in a central location where they can collect water. It's very useful.
So we're looking at, what about the ministry has also advocated for rain and water harvesting and these other techniques. Do you all utilize those techniques?
Well, we are now going to utilize this technique because Red Cross has given us a grant.
Okay, but what about in Mont Prosper and also in Bellevue?
Not as it.
Well, not as yet in Bellevue.
Not as it.
What do you utilize right now?
Well, we use our garden hose and we use our watering can and we water our plants.
Now we're coming back to the issue you said with water, Mabel. Give us somebody maybe listening, may be able to assist, and maybe reach out to you all, an organization, or maybe somebody engineering capacity. What is the issue right now in the mountains when it comes to water? I mean, Mont Prosper always has rain, rather not. And for sure wind.
Well, I haven't seen rain for a week.
A week?
Yeah.
That's a lot in the life of a farmer. Yes.
So, right now, and sometimes we get the dew at nights very heavy. So like if you sow the carrots or the beets, likely it will germinate. You understand? So then when it start raining, it pick up very fast. But there was an organization, which I am so sorry I forget the name right now, that gave us some tanks. And under the supervision of Brent and Delroy William,
Extension officers.
Right, extension officers. And then they gave us some tanks. And then right now it helped.
Okay, so at least you've gotten some assistance.
Yes, so
Are these the big black tanks we see
Right,
up in the
yes.
schoolyard area, somewhere
Yes,
close to there?
yes.
Okay. I think it wasn't the UNDP, was it? In
UNDP,
collaboration
right.
with the
Yes,
ministry.
yes, thank you.
Yes. I think they
Yes.
put together a proposal and they wanted to get that done. We're looking at innovation and we're coming back to something. Social media. I know Maggie mentioned YouTube and also WhatsApp. But in terms of social media and outreach, because as you all know, I'm everywhere all the time, all over Dominica. And there are some things that I'm still discovering. Okay? So, social media has the outreach for the world. Do you all think that is something that you all can further utilize, or you all will need training in, or something that you can maximize when it comes to your clientele, what you're offering? Any one of you all?
Yeah, as she mentioned earlier on, there was an app that created by ICA, where we can access the app and sell our produce. So they already created the app, include us as farmers on the app, and we now in turn have to learn to use the app, go on the app, put what we have, and people call us to to get produce. So that's another innovation that social media has advanced for farmers, is that sometimes some of the farmers say they're not so okua with the computer, but it's only a matter of learning. So they are making it available and accessible to farmers. You want to sell your produce, you put what you have, and people will call you because it's everywhere. Anybody can access it. It's very easy to use. That's one innovation in farming that is so useful to us in Dominica. So it can be achieved, but it's again, you just have to learn to use it.
I see Mabel is smiling. Yes, and I want to know why.
I remember during COVID time, my daughter did something for me, and then where you could call to make your order, and then it would be delivered. And I remember somebody ordered one side and one parsley to write to my estate from on first way. I check it.
Well, you see, you didn't put any parameters. If you said the purchases are 5 and above bundles, maybe it's a single man. Maybe they wanted to make one broth. But at least they reached out to you.
Yes.
Miss Lloyd?
Yes, and I know, even now she's speaking about that, I remember in my community there was this young lady who took up the responsibility, and she was selling, and it was your package had to be between $20 and $25 for orders, so you'd make your order and she would deliver. And that was going on well with her. $25 and she would deliver. Another app also we were taught and was taught us that app is the Trello. I'm not sure if Maggie remembered we did that, and where you can keep all your record keeping.
That would be lovely.
And then you can have even your meetings and the times and the dates, and all your record keeping would be under that. So that's another app that is that is another good app, and it's accessible.
Lost your stuff because it's in cloud.
Because right.
So you say it's Trello app?
Yes.
And then you just download it?
You download it, yes.
Okay. And it has everything in there. It's a
Yes.
task management app.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So,
yeah,
I mean, I just went on quickly and
you saw it.
yes,
right,
yes.
Right.
So this is not something that we're saying that technology isn't something that you all are scared of to adopt.
No.
Initially, you all weren't initially,
Pardon?
but a little hesitant in terms of adapting and adjusting.
Well, with the children that I have, I don't think I should be hesitant in that because they always involve me. Mommy, you should try this or try that, especially my daughter. So if I have a problem, say I'm on the phone and I need to get something done, I would call her. She's overseas, or call him and say, hey, let me tell you, I'm having problem with this. What do I do? And they would take me step by step into it, and then I would get it. You understand? So it's a matter of wanting to learn, wanting to know it, and even as women, we need to educate ourselves in those
Most
areas.
definitely.
Yes, we need to.
How do you involve young people then? I mean, you have your children, yes, but what about other young people in the communities, other young ladies who maybe want to get involved in agriculture? What would you be, or how do you encourage them practically?
WUSC is number one in encouraging the youth because they have an agricultural program at the college, and
Yes.
over the past 2 years, they would have an internship program where they recruit the students. You don't have to be in agriculture as a major. Any students who would like to get involved over the summer, WUSC pays them a stipend and they send them to the different farms all over Dominica. So the people that get involved in that is again farmers group. They're not just going to take them and send them off anywhere. They have us as farmers group, and then if we have the time, then we give our time.
So you're sort of like a mentor-mentee
it's a
relationship.
mentorship program. And the kids come for 6 weeks and they work on the farm with us. They experience what it is to be on a farm. And they really enjoyed it. And all these kids never leave. They always come back. They always call back. They always try to come and see how things going. And it is such an encouraging opportunity for young people to see that farming is something that, sustainable tomorrow and your future. It's not something that is just going to fall by the wayside. Farming is something that is lasting. And you hear us talk about our parents who are farmers.
Yeah.
And it's not going to die. But we, in turn, have to take care of the soil.
Yeah, we do.
We have to take care of the soil.
Yes, very, very much so. And one of the things that we see happening right now, most people is getting back into farming. And even I can take example on my kids. They're all grown. And I was brought up on farming. They too, yes, my husband was out working, but I always was in, and he always loved farming. And the children educated, sent to school, educated, and right now all of them, they are going back into farming. They love it. They
So I
love
take it they're into potatoes this year.
they were there last year, and because of the discouragement, they did not go this year.
All
But
right.
we are into potatoes. They are not into potatoes this year, but they are helping in planting the potatoes, plowing the land and planting, and they are there. And so, and I see a lot of people, who out there in the secular world is coming back into farming. There is something in it that, everybody wants to be in it. And not only for the income, I don't think it's just for the income, because it's so therapeutic. When you are in there, you're at peace, number one, with your maker. You're at peace with everything around you. And people do not understand. I mean, imagine you have your flower garden and you're in it, because some people, their roses, they love their roses and they don't want anything to pass. Well, it's so with us, with our plants, our anthuriums, our dashing, our cabbages, our vegetables that we grow. We love it. We love it. We love it. We love
And
it.
I thought I had so much time. I was just taking my little time. So many questions I have. So let me get into my questions then. Yes, you're a woman. Yes, you're into agriculture. But how do you really balance your home and family life in terms of being on the farm, making your monies, and still having a balanced life? And I know some people are still involved in other money-making ventures I wouldn't want to talk about.
Okay, for me, right now it's easy because my children are grown. and no grandchildren to look
One day
after.
I'll speak like you one day because the number of times you said those children are grown.
No grandchildren at the moment to look
As
after.
yet.
They are at school. So it's easy for me in a sense that I can just wake up in the morning, have my devotions, and then just walk around in the garden and just move. I don't have anything keeping me back. I can just decide, okay, today is planting, or today is sowing, or today is harvesting, whatever it is.
But every day you're on the farm.
Every day I'm on the farm. Every day I'm on the farm. And for me, it brings a double income on the farm. And I wouldn't say what is the second income, but it brings a double income.
But we want to know what's the double income.
But I don't.
That's not fair to us.
Huh?
That's not fair to us.
To know what is the double income?
Yes.
Oh, okay, all right. Maggie will tell you.
Yes, Mabel, I see you're very quiet. But in terms of balance, tell me.
My double income is other than I have in growing and selling to the supermarket. When it is seen, you come on my farm as a visitor, you see, you pay to be there.
Oh, so you're doing farm tours tourism. Okay, so I have a point about that also. But yes, Mabel, I see you're very quiet. How do you balance life and your other entrepreneurial activities?
It's easy.
Really?
Yeah, because I make sure I like to work, but I make sure I am well fed, and I make sure that I rest. I always take an hour rest, like between 1 to 3 o'clock. When you call me, you will find I resting. I don't just go on the farm like whole day just working. No. When you come at my home in the morning 6 o'clock, I won't be there. I have already on my farm. But then I always take a break. Yep.
And then you come back to the farm later on?
Yes.
Maggie?
Yeah, it's the same process. You know, you look at it as a job. When I get up in the morning, I prepare breakfast. The workers come. I would offer a cup of coffee or tea. Who don't drink coffee. Then we go on a farm. I assign the task and I stay close to home and I cook lunch. And I'm not in a place where the people can go and buy lunch or go and buy bread or so. You didn't bring lunch, you get offered some lunch. And it's like a everyday life. I get up, I make breakfast, I make lunch, I make dinner, and as she say, at a certain time I stop. I stop, and then I do other things. I am quite versatile. I do quite a bit, but I pace myself.
Anybody involved in livestock rearing, animal husbandry?
I have a lot of livestock.
You all do?
Yes, we have we have goats, we have cows, we have chickens and rabbits.
But this is a 24-hour,
Yes,
7 days a
we
week.
do.
Yeah,
but
but
then-
I have help.
And my husband is there, and my husband love the farm even more than me. So, and then even my sisters, my brothers, they are all educated and they are all into farming. My sister was so afraid of earthworm, now she can hold it in her hand because she's so
So
into
she's making
farming.
progress.
Yes, she's making progress.
So the animal-
sorry, yes, the animals are taken care of. Yes, and I love it, and I love having the animals. Say, Maggie, I love having them.
Okay, one thing I want to mention, are you integrating local consumption of foods into your diets?
Oh.
I know Mabel doesn't want to talk about the ice pops, but I will talk about it for her. And I haven't seen them in a while, Maki, but anyway, I'm not saying anything. Do you integrate locally produced foods that you do not produce yourself into your family's diet, into your diet itself? So you have your teas, which are local. I want to know about your consumption of local commodities. Because if you're a farmer, you need to promote local.
And that is one of the things I make sure at every meeting I go. And we have to be very, very careful, even the way we grow what we grow, because we need to be eating what we grow ourselves. And if you are growing it carelessly, which means to say you are feeding it out carelessly, so it have to be at a standard in a way where it is, you are consuming it, and when you are selling it, it is, because sometimes we see the mistake that we do. And I always remember growing up in the days when my parents were ignorant. I'm not sure how many people remembered that the Gramazone containers, they would wash it after they have used the chromosome and use it as water containers, not realizing how dangerous that was at that time
before the
to your
triple
body,
ring
to your-
system.
Yes, to your health. And so even those little things of the taking care of the plants and washing your hands and going in the garden, and you know you have to be very, very careful. And like I always say, and my family can tell you, when I present to the supermarket, I want to make sure it's presentable, because it tells who you are the way you present the thing.
Okay, so I would have offered you all a lovely glass of plantain wine or banana wine, but I mean, we're rushing for time and we will do it off day.
Or kale and carrot akra.
Oh, don't get me started now. Don't get me started. Or soursop ice pop.
I understand what I mean. Or nice papa juice.
Oh, Maggie, I got something by Maggie. You know, I can't remember what it was. It a cake, Maggie?
I make everything local. Dried fruits.
Yes. Oh, it was Maggie. Don't say a word.
Oh.
It was the dehydrated fruits.
Yes.
And let me tell you, this Exotica has nothing on this. Nothing, Maggie. And that is why I'm saying we need to utilize technology, Facebook, to do promotion. I want to encourage you all. I want to continue doing what you're doing. We want to thank you for your services, your continued services. We want to encourage the women out there. But what I want to just make mention of, I cannot really put the cat out of the bag, but I do think that you all heard the pronouncements from the ministry as it relates to Dexia and the ministry collaborating, so agriculture and trade. And very soon, a program will be rolled out in terms of finding a suitable market for all fresh produce on the island. So that is something we're going to do an outreach, we're going to do promotion, sensitization, and women will be engaged. There's nothing about where's the men, etc. It's equal opportunity for all. As long as you're working, you're producing, you can get on board. We want to remind you that March 31st is around the corner, so that you need to get your produce seller's license renewed. Remember, that's an annual exercise. And predial larceny, etc. So this is what we're trying to curb in terms of those two-legged harvesters coming on farms and just taking your hard work in vain. So therefore, I want to say once again, it has been a pleasure to be here. Yeah, I do have 10 more minutes. I was told that is why, so I can go along with my questions. Okay, I do apologize for that. So I can ask you more questions then. In terms of when we look at, so let's get back to our questions. I'm very thankful for that 10 minutes. In terms of 30 years ago to now, we know that person say that there's been a change in terms of what is readily available for women to produce. We had the banana sector, that was a weekly, regular, very tiring, troublesome exercise. How do you decide what is produced on your farm right now? What is in your mind space? How do you plan, any one of you all?
I am very versatile. I try to grow everything because it's a large farm. Now, we know that we farm according to season. And you plant ginger around March, April, you plant yam at a certain time. So, and they always say, can you pace your farming? So when one set of persons have carrots, then there's no carrots. But we have to realize that 2, 3, 4 months ago, all we had was rain. And we could not produce a thing because it was just rain and slugs. We're fighting with slugs because it's so wet. Now it's dry. So now I think we're going to have everything because now everything is coming out. The farm have carrot, cabbage, lettuce, cucumber, everything is available because we have nice weather. So grapefruit come around November, December. It's nothing we can do about it. If you have an orange tree that maybe grows year round, you're lucky. But remember, it's that flowering around March. And then you start having grapefruits, tangerines, mandarins, oranges around November and December, and sometimes it may go into January, February. So if they say there's too much on the market, but it comes when it comes.
So you're saying because of the seasonality,
really much we can do. Because yes, people that have greenhouses, they can diversify. They can plant different intervals.
In a controlled space.
Yes. But when you have the open space and then you have the different seasons, we didn't have a season this year. We had just rainy season because we had a lot of rain. And now it's dry. You see, she said for 2 weeks now it's sun. And I'm in Sultan and I don't see sun. And I'm seeing sun. So, I mean, we just thank God for providing us with such beautiful, fruitful land that we can grow food.
Yes.
Right? This year, we didn't have yam. Last year, we had a yam disease. We didn't have yam. I planted maybe 6 bags of yam. I got no yam. And we are asking the Ministry of Agriculture to please provide yellow yam. We cannot get yellow yam plants.
You're saying like the germplasm to produce, and you're talking about yam cuttings.
Yes.
You're referring to that.
Yam was destroyed. We have a yam disease. I didn't get no yam.
Yeah, well, that was correct. But we did institute a tech pack system. Did the quarantine officer or the extension officer come to you to deliver on that?
No.
In terms of, okay, I will see if I get some information for you on that. So you're going into yellow yams because it's resistant, you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, you've tried some already?
Yes, I have some. But then the white yam is not going.
Okay.
I mean, you're at a loss. When you put the white yam, it's just not making yam. It's just the soil is eating it up. So we have to give it a rest. It's like crop rotation. You know, you plant a certain food in a certain spot. You have to give that a rest. You cannot go and plant the same thing there. You know, we try to do intercropping where, well, when you have the yam, you plant string beans and you plant other beans and you plant, you know, very short crop. So you can have potatoes growing and string beans growing at the same time. You can have carrots growing and have herbs at the same time in the same area. So intercropping is good and crop rotation is good. And again, the animals that I have, that's my manure. That's what I use. That's my go-to. You make the manure tea using the animal down. I use my manure to put in my vegetable because that's all I eat. You know, so, you know, you eat what you grow, and I also have a business. It's from farm to table. So whenever I have a guest, they ask for dinner, they get everything from the farm.
Everything from the farm?
Everything from the farm, the chicken. The only thing I don't have is fish. That's if I don't go down to the river to catch some crabs and book. So everything.
You go down
from
to the river
farm.
yourself, Maggie?
I do. The river's right there. I go and catch my seaweed, girl.
Yes, Miss Lloyd.
Yes, in light of your question about the different crops that we plant, one of the things that I'm doing right now is I'm planting lots of fruits. The reason why is because in the future, maybe when I cannot plant the cabbages and the carrots and everything else, the fruit trees will be there and they'll be bearing fruits.
Oh, so you don't want to be bending so much on the beds.
You understand what
So
I mean?
don't you do the raised bed in terms of
Yeah, we do raised beds.
Okay.
That's the way we cultivate our vegetables. But what I'm saying, in the future, if the Lord tarries and I should live maybe 80, 85, my dad is 87, and then you have the fruit trees because they are more resistant at that time, and then you can't bend over, but you'll be getting an income from the fruits. And I try planting sourshops and limes and pawpaws and so I'm into that also. But the problem now, we have lots of difficulties in getting plants, so I having to make my own plants. And yes, because I try to sow my lime seeds to make use of it. Yes, and I was promised by the gardens that they would come and graft it for me. Yes, graft it for me. So I'm trying right now sowing my pawpaws and having, well, I got a few plants and my sour sops and sweet sops, so I'm sowing my own seeds and trying, to have my fruits for the future. Lord tarries if he delays. And with the vegetables, you do different vegetables: broccoli, carrot, cabbage, cauliflowers, parsley, celery, chive. We have a bit of each. We do a bit of each. And what I do, having been in it for a while, I look at the timing. Timing works for me because you see, at this time of the year, you have lots of cabbages, carrots, and lettuce on the market. And even as women farmers, or even as farmers on a whole, you need to be aware. You need to know your market. You need to know,
like in every business,
it is plentiful, because you have to treat your agricultural as a business. It's a business. You go in it, you want it. Everybody looks for profit. You will not get profit all the time, but at the same time, you have to know the market. What is in it at this time of the year? January, February, March, April, May. What is in it? You know it is full of carrot, cabbage. So you try to diversify. You try to plant broccoli, cauliflowers, and the things that you know that will sell the most at the time. So you try planting. So
and you're going to high end. I see you're looking at the high end. How much does a pound of broccoli go for right now, cauliflower?
So you want to know that on the air?
Yes, because our consumers need to know so they can budget.
Yes, $6-7 a pound.
That is very good.
Yes, the local broccoli. I mean,
that is farm gate prices though.
It is very good because when you have the imported broccoli, when you go on the market and for you to see the price.
No, but at farm gate, we need to take into account it's farm gate. You bring to the supermarket, they do their little markup, their packaging. So if I get a pound of broccoli,
the imported I'm talking about, the local one they sell it at a reasonable price at the supermarket.
But where?
So locally you get it $6 a pound. We sell it at $6 a pound, $7 a pound, and then we let the market do
what they want. Yes. Mabel, I know you're from the seasoning county of Dominica. You're in charge of all seasonings, One Prosper, and herbs and etc. Culinary herbs, that is.
Yeah.
But how do you decide what you plant?
Okay. Right now we plant everything. We do carrots, cabbages, seasoning, green seasoning, beets, just name it. All vegetables. But then there's a certain time like when you sow the carrots, it doesn't matter what you do. The slugs, these slugs will pass and eat it and whatever. So what I do, I use the sand. Like I love burning, stuff like dry thing, and in other words we call it, long time words we call it buka. So then I use that and I sow my seeds, so that help me with the slugs. And I eat what I grow. I also use my, I have sheep and I have goats. So what I do, I use their how they would say, their dung. Yes. I put it in a drum with some other stuff, good stuff. And then at the end of like 6 weeks, I use it to spray. So when you spray the crops with it has something that will kill the white flies and all those, and then it will also boost it up. But like now, in the weather we are now, you have to watch how you use it, because according to, if you use it too strong, it can kill the plants, or but then but then we survive. Right now the market is like flooding with plenty things, but you not having it, and when the customer come, you have to go and ask somebody. So I prefer, even though it have plenty on the market, at least I have it, so I can provide my customer what they need.
So you do a smaller quantity. Right.
Yes.
But you're available, all of you are available on the local markets weekly?
Yes.
No, I'm not on the local market at all.
I don't go to the market.
No, I don't go to the market at all. For years I've not been going to the market at all. So.
But I know, Mabel, we like all this interaction at the market, Mabel.
Yes.
So
and then, sorry, earlier on you asked a question about some of the technological advancement that were not available 20 to 30 years ago. Like we have right now the tillers. The tillers help us to, till the land. Like if this time you have some carrots and so, and you say, well, you want to rotate, you want to do something else. Like you till the soil and then you do something else.
All right.
So at the end of it, you will get a better result, like just put in 5 years or how many months, like one place you just put in carrots.
Okay.
At a certain time you will not expect it to do that well for you. So you have to change. If you say you have string beans, you rotate, you put something else. After the string beans harvest, you rotate, you put something else. You understand?
So we just thank you very much for that. Our 10 minutes is up already. We just want your final comments, your final words, in terms of encouragement to the women. Anything you want to share for International Women's Day? Today is actually our day.
Well, we want to thank you for having us, but also we want to thank every woman listening at this time to know how important you are, to know how blessed you are, to know how wonderful you are, and to know how you are fearfully and wonderfully made by God. And you do not be afraid to take up challenges. Whatever you decide to do in farming, it is a good thing. Take it up seriously, take it up as a business. You go to work 8 to 4. Make sure you on your farm, you get your rest, you eat what you grow, you eat healthy, eat your fruits, eat your vegetables, and stay in touch with yourself as a woman.
Okay, Maggie, Mabel, quickly.
Yes, it's our day. We are women, and it's. I mean, every day is a woman day because you know the woman is what drives this whole economy around the world. But today we take the opportunity to bless and encourage all other women in any aspect of what you do. And when you do something in your heart and you appreciate what you do, it's going to be fulfilling. You're going to feel like I'm not tired or I'm not bored. You know, so because you will put your all into it, and because you can put your all into it, the pleasure of being modest, the pleasure of serving, the pleasure of just honoring someone else and not thinking that it's all about you. Farming is that's what it brings to us as women. We give, we share, I know these ladies. We meet in workshops. We share recipes that we have for slugs. We share recipes that we have for whiteflies. We just love to sit and talk and share our experiences, and it is a world of goodies. It's just good.
Okay, Mabel.
Okay. On behalf of the Mon Prosper Women Farmers in Action, I would like to say thank you for having me here today to represent Mon Prosper. And as a certified farmer, I would just like to say farming is good. You know, some people say like believe like you cannot look nice when you're a farmer. When I am the farm, I'm a farmer. You know, I just like a farmer. But when I come to town, I make myself look nice. You know, so I just want to say like farming is a good thing. It motivates you. It helps you focus. It just, you know, so.
All right.
And you always have a she money.
You always have a she money. Plus your bus money. Okay, so I want to say thank you very much. We went out to the field today. We met Mrs. Gore. She is striding. Her husband said it's her plantation. He's just an employee on it, her manager, but she is the one in charge. We want to say also to Miss Lakia Joseph. She is the Minister for Agro-Processing, and she's also utilizing a number of local products. I just had a moringa flake I bought, and we have Jennifer, as usual, who does our coconut cheese, etc. We have all the frontline workers from the ministry and also the project management unit. That is the Emergency Agricultural Project. We want to say also to the WUSC. So really and truly, women are running things, you know. Women are running things. We are making our strides. We are trying and we are feeding our society a healthy and balanced diet. We have a number of women who are fishers. They are diving, they are divers, the ladies involved in CMOS production, in Grand Bay, in Woodfordale, and Calibishi. And I want to say thank you very much. I am happy to be part of a system that recognizes the efforts and the strides and the excellence of all women. So once again, ladies, thank you very much for being here, taking time from your schedule, because now it's your downtime, I'm assuming. So thank you very much, and a happy, happy International Women's Day. Until next time, do stay blessed.
Thank you.
Right, we have to run.